Imagine childhood as a chaotic carnival ride gone off its rails. Now tighten your seatbelt. Beat. That's the visceral thrill Augusten Burroughs serves in Running with Scissors. Section 1. A Shattered Domestic Mirror. We begin in Northampton, Massachusetts, in the early 1970s. Beat. Augusten Burroughs is a boy obsessed with shiny things and TV soap operas, longing for glamour while his parents' marriage implodes. His mother, Deirdre, is a poet who drifts between manic highs and depressive fogs, convinced that her words channel cosmic wisdom. His father, an alcoholic professor, disappears into bourbon-fueled silences. Beat. Augustine's boyhood world fractures like a mirror dropped on tile, each shard reflecting a fragment of instability. After one especially violent fight, Deirdre sends Augustine to therapy with the eccentric psychiatrist Dr. Finch. This office isn't a sanctuary, it's a portal into surreal dysfunction. Beat. The waiting room hosts a taxidermied pigeon, walls splattered Pepto-Bismol pink, and a Bible opened to random pages to validate any whim. Dr. Finch thinks fate reveals itself through the bathroom ceiling and occasionally through his bowel movements, which he treats as sacred portents. Emphasis, candor, is impossible here. Reality bends to whomever narrates it loudest. Beat. In sessions, Dr. Finch listens to Deirdre's chaotic verses, nodding sagely, then prescribes little more than permission. Permission for Deirdre to leave. Permission for Augustine to stop school. Permission to redefine the universe however they wish. The boundary between therapy and theatre dissolves. By the time Deirdre signs over legal guardianship of 13-year-old Augustine to Dr. Finch, the concept of a conventional childhood is rubble. Beat. No curfews, no homework, no stable meals, just the Finch family's ramshackle Victorian house vibrating with psychosexual anarchy. It is here, in this shattered domestic mirror, that Augustine's journey into bizarre freedom truly takes flight. Section 2. Life inside the Finch family circus. Picture a grand home that smells of mildew, dog hair, and burnt Pop-Tarts. Beat. Floors groan, Christmas lights stay up year-round, and at least one child sleeps in a clawfoot bathtub. The Finch household is not merely unconventional, it's a social experiment in unchecked ID. Agnes Finch, the matriarch, scrawls legal briefs on paper plates while chain-smoking on the porch. She feeds the family dog kibble soaked in sherry. Beat. Hope and Natalie, Finch daughters, oscillate between gothic melodrama and gleeful sabotage, dyeing Barbie doll's hair in the toilet and forging report cards to amuse themselves. Most unsettling is 17-year-old Neil Bookman, Dr. Finch's adopted son, who begins a predatory sexual relationship with Augustine. Beat. The memoir spares little detail. A line is crossed early and repeatedly, posing searing questions about consent, protection, and the adults who look away. Yet amid this circus, Augustine discovers paradoxical comforts. With no school attendance, he spends afternoons polishing copper pans or devising elaborate hairstyles with Natalie. The house offers chaos, yes, but also a perverse sense of belonging. Beat. He learns the wry art of survival, how to make a breakfast necklace out of Fruit Loops, how to forge his own absence notes, how to negotiate power with disarming charm. The family's guiding ethos is what Dr. Finch calls the emphasis elective reality principle, the belief that if you declare something as true, the universe must eventually comply. That dogma empowers Deirdre's poetic delusions, fuels Finch's God complex, and emboldens Augustine to believe he can will himself into fame, beauty, or safety. Beat. Of course, the bill for such magical thinking is always late. yet always devastating when it arrives. Section 3. Breaking points and brief escapes. As years stretch, the Finch house feels less like an amusement park and more like an abandoned fairground at dusk. Beat. Maintenance decays. Tensions sharpen. Augusten's relationship with Bookman grows violent. Affection warps into imprisonment. He tries to run away to New York City on limited cash, chasing a fantasy of soap opera stardom, only to end up hiding in a bus station bathroom, hunger gnawing at his bravado. Meanwhile, Deirdre's mental health deteriorates. She begins dating a series of women, one of whom hears sermons from her kitchen appliances. Beat. Deirdre's mania blooms into paranoia. She accuses Augusten of plotting against her, then collapses into weeping regret. Dr. Finch, once the orchestrator, now loses grip over his own household, sued for malpractice and scrambling to shield his crumbling empire. The elective reality principle slowly collapses under the weight of unpaid bills, social services investigations, and relentless entropy. Augusten, now 16, recognizes that love inside the Finch house often disguises exploitation. Beat. He forms a bond with Natalie, part sibling, part co-conspirator, and they begin cataloguing the insanity around them as though journaling for a future audience who might finally believe them. A critical breaking point arrives during Christmas, when Dr. Finch announces that Jesus wants everyone to receive perfect gifts, whether or not the family can afford them. They raid a department store's dumpster at midnight, salvaging broken toys and bent jewelry. Beat. Augusten, clutching a cracked compact mirror, sees his reflection, resilient yet warped. He realizes survival requires an exit strategy, not more improvisation. For the first time, emphasis.agency eclipses fantasy. Section 4. Claiming a self beyond chaos. Freedom, when it comes, is neither cinematic nor clean. Beat. Augusten moves into an apartment with a friend, piggybacking on borrowed furniture and hope. He earns money cleaning houses. Ironic mastery of domestic order after years of squalor. He earns his GED, trading forged notes for legitimate achievement, and sets his sights on advertising in New York City. Deirdre drifts further into psychosis, in and out of hospitals. Her phone calls swing from furious accusations to tearful apologies. Beat. Augusten learns the cruel arithmetic of loving someone mentally ill, how to draw a protective circle around his life while acknowledging the frayed cord that still ties them. One afternoon, he returns to the Finch house for loose ends. The yard is overgrown. The pink medical office has faded to ashen bubblegum. Dr. Finch, under legal siege, still believes in cosmic messages, yet smiles less convincingly. Beat. Augusten walks through rooms where ceilings have caved, where he once dangled chandelier crystals and dreamed of Hollywood lights. This visit is a final scripture reading of his own myth, proof that he lived, escaped, and will no longer orbit Finch gravity. He drives away at dusk, the car radio playing a pop tune about reinvention. In the rearview mirror, the Victorian house shrinks until it's just a wobbling speck. Augusten inhales, tasting possibility untainted by mildew. Beat. The elective reality principle is dead, but something sturdier has replaced it. The conviction that emphasis is narrative control, once seized, can chart a future no guardian can rewrite.